I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
We're living in a time we're gonna meet Yahweh Shai. You're gonna meet him face to face, which is proof also that we have to be changed. We can't meet the Lord like this. He's gonna change you, he's gonna crown you, and he's gonna toast with you. Sometimes when Akim are among each other, we'll do little small toasts. Brothers may be like La Yasharala, holding up cups. But imagine the Lord himself hosting it, man. And we join in. And I was reading something else, and pretty much they said in order to have what they call a loyal toast, you will use wine. That's the beverage of choice. And once again, our Lord, he's coming back, and we're going to see him with all that power, man. But he's going to extend that power to you.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature wait for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
And once again, when our Lord returns, he's going to wield that power to you elect as well. Once again, he's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to have a toast with you. A kingly toast, which will basically be a celebration for victory over the beast, victory over this system, victory over Edom Rome coming back, and Edom Rome's mark, which will be that Karagma. So we're going to celebrate with our Lord Yahweh Shai, and honestly, there's no telling what all he has in store for us.
Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, what I want to get into today, another morning news and prophecy, and going to how everyone, was feeling the squeeze. Okay, and I found this documentary, all right, and this guy's pretty much breaking it down, how, the grocery prices, are putting people in a bind, from rent to groceries, all right, and everyone can feel this economy, and if you don't have, all right, a lot of disposable income, okay, you're feeling the squeeze of this economy, there's a difference. Everyone has to, budget different, make adjustments. Okay, go without particular things. You see, because the squeeze is happening. All right, and everyone is feeling it from top to bottom. Okay, so the main thing that's been going on lately, all right, is you have, Eve, been all in the camera, crying about the EBT. Okay, well, the people that's been working, 60, 70 hours a week has been feeling the squeeze long before, the threat, okay, of food stamps being cut off. Okay, the people that's been actually laboring and toiling and paying bills with cash, and they've been catching hell for quite a while. They've been feeling the squeeze for quite a while. Okay, so it's not just a thing of, okay, now that the food stamps is cut, now this is big crisis. Well, there was a crisis way before this whole thing with the food stamps. Okay, everyone was feeling the squeeze years before this moment that we in now, and that's why these people, they're talking about the food stamps cut. I'm gonna rob. I'm gonna do this. Well, you have to understand, these people that's been working these jobs for years and got all these bills that they paying out of pocket, them not gonna be the people you want to run up on, man. Talking about taking something. Okay, these people on edge out here. Okay, and just because your your meal ticket, might be in jeopardy, all right, and you think that you just finna go out to, these tax paying citizens and have your way. Hey, these people are on edge, man. Okay, the stress of trying to come out of pocket and pay these things is far greater than you losing the meal ticket. Okay, so what we're finna see, all right, is the squeeze continue, okay, and continue and continue to the point to where Esau wants people to tap out. He wants people to spaz out, okay, and start deleting each other. And then he wants people to become desperate for a solution. So the squeeze is coming from everywhere. Okay, it's coming from everywhere, from the most impoverished, from the most dependent, all right, sect of society, to the working class, to the middle class, to the once upper middle class. The squeeze is being felt everywhere. Okay, all those businesses that was lost during the time of the lockdown, those are middle class, upper middle class businesses that failed. Okay, so what we're seeing is this devil putting the squeeze on all sects of society, man, because he's hurting people to purge. All right, he's provoking people to purge, and he's hurting the rest into this new world order. So it's like, if you survive the purge, from people spazzing out and civil unrest, he's going to present a solution with that sea hip, man. Okay, so I'm gonna get a few precepts, and then I got a video I want to get into, but let's get this real quick. All right, because the scripture describes this devil's rulership. Okay, Isaiah 14:6, and this is an NLT. It says, "You struck the people with endless blows of rage, and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny, man." And he just has a tight grip on everybody, man. Okay, and he's always plotting and scheming. How can he take more? How can he take more from the poor and enrich himself? Okay, how can he get more control? How can he oppress more? How can he put people in a tighter box than what they already are? Okay, he's just an unrelenting tyrant. Okay, and that's why scriptures say, we see, because it's like, God damn, people are already, it's already set up in the system to where, most of the wealth flows to the wealthy. Like we always go into, there was a time when 85% of the world's wealth flowed to the 1%. Now it's 92% of the world's wealth flow to the 1%. It's like, damn, nigga, that ratio wasn't enough. 85% of the world's wealth flowing to 1%. That ratio wasn't enough, man. Okay, but nah, man, this man is he just built to constantly devour. Okay, and that's why the scriptures go into the book of Habakkuk. Okay, chapter 2. All right, this is Habakkuk 2 and 4. And the NLT says, "Look at the proud. They trust in themselves and their lives are crooked." Okay, it's a crook in power, man. Okay, and you people constantly expect this man this one day to start doing right. Okay, it'll never happen. It's not in him. Okay, he's a crook. You see, it said, "But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to the Most High, which is the hopeful elect." You know, so hold on, jump down. It says verse 5. I'm read this in the NLT, meaning KJV. Let me see. So Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire as hell," okay, which going into the grave, and is as death, okay, and cannot be satisfied because what is the grave meant to do once you put bodies, okay, in the earth? Well, guess what? The earth breaks those bodies down. So you can never overwhelm the earth with bodies. It'll just break it down, break those bodies down. Okay, and this how this devil's desire, is like he can never have enough. Okay, he's always looking forward to what else can he take. And he just constantly devours the people that he rules over, man. And it says it cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap it unto him all people. Okay, so this man has the planet Earth. He has turned the earth into a plantation, man, to a sweatshop. Okay, this is what this man is about. Okay, now he wants to put a C-hip in everyone to have more control over his sweatshop, man. Okay, he's turned the earth into a digital prison. Okay, and this is why it's gonna be a big push, okay, for him to introduce this chip and merge, okay, people with what? Technology for control's sake, man, for oppression's sake, man. Okay, so let's go to this video. We'll let it play for the most part, but it's gonna go into, how people are just catching it, man. Like I say, these niggas, all right, the nigga community crying about stamps, man. You see these people that's been catching hell for years, and you think, right, you're just gonna run up on them and take something. All right. Yeah, okay. Let's see.
America is breaking at the dinner table. In 2025, food prices have exploded by 27%, while wages crawled just 4%. The average family now spends over $1,200 a month simply to eat, and still goes to bed hungry. Credit cards are maxed, savings are gone, and dignity is fading with every grocery receipt. Parents skip dinner so their kids can eat. Workers pretend they're not hungry during lunch breaks. This isn't inflation. It's collapse disguised as normal life. The Great Depression isn't a story from the past anymore. It's here, hiding in the middle class, wearing the mask of survival. Number 5, Washington. In Washington, the grocery aisle has become the new front line of economic despair. The same state that gave birth to Amazon's trillion-dollar empire and Starbucks' $6 lattes now hides a dark truth. Its middle class can no longer afford to eat properly. Once a symbol of innovation and prosperity, Washington is quietly reliving an invisible version of the Great Depression, one where empty stomachs are masked by credit cards and self-checkout beeps. Families who once filled their carts without worry now stand in aisles doing math in their heads. wondering whether a gallon of milk is worth skipping breakfast tomorrow. In 2000,
And the grocery store count like a motherfucker. All right. This picture says 1,000 words. Nigga, you can't get both. Okay. And they gotta prioritize, man. Niggas gotta learn about calories and carbs. Cause people now, hey, America is sliding into survival mode, man. Okay, people, act like it's cool and they got it, they good. Nah, man, most people are going into survival mode. All right, this is the common look. All right, this should be the meme of 2025 right here, man. Okay, the nigga seeing what got, he looking at the protein. This nigga trying to see, what's gonna sustain him, man. This nigga looking at the calories, the saturated fats, nigga. So you gotta damn near be a mathematician and a nutrition at the grocery store now. Oh, boy.
2019, the average cost of groceries in Washington hovered around $700 a month. By 2025, that number has surged past $1,200 for a family of 4, a 70% increase in just 6 years. A single carton of eggs now costs nearly $5. A loaf of bread averages $4.29, and chicken that once cost $1.99 a pound now sits at $4.50 or higher. Gas prices are among the highest in the country, sitting above $5 per gallon in many parts of Seattle, meaning even getting to the grocery store is a financial calculation. And yet, wages haven't kept up. The median household income may sound solid at $94,000, but after taxes, $2,500 rent, $400 utilities, car insurance, and child expenses, there's barely $100 left to stretch across 7 days of food. Middle-class parents, who once packed school lunches with fruit and snacks, now rely on bulk instant noodles. In eastern Washington, food banks are reporting an increase of 40% more visitors compared to pre-pandemic levels, many of them people with full-time jobs. A Boeing technician earning $35 an hour now finds himself waiting in line behind a teacher and a nurse, all three living on the edge of hunger in one of America's richest states. These are not the poor. These are the people who once defined stability. They pay their taxes. The cruelest irony stores are overflowing with abundance. Shelves lined with organic produce, high-end seafood, and imported goods stand gleaming under neon lights, while workers quietly skip lunch in the break room. The food is there, it's just out of reach. Inflation has transformed the middle class into invisible beggars, people who still wear clean clothes but swipe credit cards for ground beef. Grocery debt is becoming the new norm. A recent survey found 1 in 3 households in Washington now carry credit card balances for basic groceries, with average monthly interest piling up to $90. That's not living, that's surviving debt to debt. Even the state's so-called prosperous tech hubs aren't immune. In Redmond and Bellevue, engineers earning 6 figures are sharing meals, cutting portions, or skipping dining out altogether. A family dinner at a modest restaurant now costs $80 to $100, more than some families can spend on groceries for the entire week. Meanwhile, property taxes, health care premiums, daycare costs from the paycheck. When your salary grows by 4%, but your food costs rise by 20%, you don't move forward. You starve slower. The middle class here doesn't starve on the streets. They starve in silence. They buy less meat, water down milk, and replace fresh produce with cheaper processed alternatives. Parents quietly eat smaller portions so their kids can have enough. People who once prided themselves on independence now find themselves with the same question their grandparents asked in the 1930s. How did it come to this? In the shadow of billion-dollar skyscrapers and delivery trucks full of food, Washington's middle class is fighting to keep dignity in the face of hunger. They don't need sympathy, they need honesty. Because the truth is brutal. When the people who build the state, teach its children, and keep its hospitals running can no longer afford to eat decently. That's not inflation. That's the quiet return of the Great Depression, wrapped in modern packaging, sold under fluorescent lights, and paid for one receipt at a time. Number 4. Mississippi. Mississippi has always carried the label of America's poorest state. But in 2025, that title comes with a darker truth. The middle class here is starving. Not in the dramatic, visible way of soup lines from the 1930s, but through quiet, relentless struggle. It's a state where teachers, factory workers, and nurses now count every penny at the checkout aisle, where a week's groceries cost more than what some families earn in 2 days. And what makes it worse? These aren't people living off government checks. These are full-time, hard-working Americans who wake up before sunrise, work 10-hour shifts, and still can't afford enough food-filled fridge. The average household income in Mississippi sits around $54,000 a year, yet the cost of living has exploded like never before. Groceries that cost $600 a month before the pandemic now exceed $1,000, eating up nearly a quarter of a family's take-home pay. Eggs that once sold for $1.29 now cost $4.80. A gallon of milk has climbed past $6, and ground beef, once a cheap staple, can hit $6.50 a pound. For families with 2 or 3 kids, the math simply doesn't work. A mother in Jackson, earning $22 an hour recently, told local news that she spends nearly $250 a week just to feed her family of 4, and that's with no dining out, no extras, just basics like bread, rice, vegetables, and milk. Mississippi's middle class is vanishing between stagnant wages and runaway inflation. The so-called Southern affordability myth has completely collapsed. Rent for an average apartment in cities like Gulfport or Hattiesburg is up 38% since 2020, and utility bills have doubled. After rent, gas, and childcare, most families are left with a few $100s, and the grocery bill now burns through that in days. Many are forced to rely on credit cards just to put food on the table, creating what experts call hunger debt, a vicious cycle where people borrow to survive. Local food banks are overwhelmed. In 2019, they mainly served low-income or unemployed residents. Now, 1 in 4 visitors has a full-time job. Teachers come after school hours. Warehouse workers line up before dawn, and nurses stop by after late shifts. Pride is gone. Survival is all that's left. And for many, even the cheapest foods are starting to feel like luxuries. Families trade chicken for beans, milk for powdered alternatives, and fresh produce for canned goods with longer shelf lives. Healthy eating has become a privilege, something you can't afford unless you're rich. And the cruel irony? Mississippi produces plenty of food. Its farmlands grow corn, soybeans, and poultry that feed millions across America. Yet, those who live closest to the fields often can't afford what they help produce. Corporate consolidation has wiped out small local markets, and profits are siphoned away from the state, leaving residents to pay national chain prices on local goods. It's like growing your own dinner, but being forced to buy it back at twice the price. What's unfolding here isn't just economic pressure, it's a moral collapse. People who played by the rules, saved what they could, and worked hard are now forced to make impossible choices: groceries or gas, bills or breakfast. In a state where 60% of the population identifies as middle or working class, hunger is no longer a statistic. It's a shared experience. The most haunting part? It's quiet. No protests, no riots, no headlines. Just millions of silent sacrifices. Parents skipping meals so their kids can eat, elderly couples cutting portions to make it to the next check, and workers pretending they're not hungry during lunch breaks. Mississippi isn't just struggling, it's starving in slow motion. And as food prices climb another 10% this year, it's becoming painfully clear that this isn't a temporary crisis. It's the modern echo of the Great Depression, happening right under America's nose, one empty plate at a time. Number 3, Nevada.
And yeah, he goes through, different states. So I put the link up. All right, you brothers and sisters can check it out. But let's get this here. I seen a brother put some precepts. Yeah, man. So just going back into it. So what we're seeing, okay, is the devil. All right, he's gradually putting the squeeze on everyone. From the upper middle class on down. Okay, people are being priced out. Okay, of everyday living. Okay, tourism is down. People can't afford. All right, see, because everything in the economy is attached to one another. Okay, and the middle class is the driving force behind any economy. Okay, because you look at Hollywood. Which Hollywood is pretty much finished. Why? Because the middle class. Because who's going to see? Who was paying to see these box office movies? The middle class. Okay, when you go to a sports arena, okay, when you go to a Sunday, all right, football game, who's filling those stands? Those 80,000 people that's in the stands. What are they? They're middle class. Okay, so you had every week. I think the NFL was making like 400 million every Sunday. That was a few years ago, but where is that money being generated from? The middle class. Okay, the concerts. Okay, where these music industries and executives getting rich from? All right, these entertainers, the middle class. Okay, the food industry. These big box stores, Amazon. Who's making Bezos a billionaire? The middle class. Okay, so as he's pricing out the middle class, okay, he's taking, all right, that last piece needed for this place to collapse. Okay, so everyone is feeling the squeeze, man. Okay, so everyone is on edge. Everybody gonna be with the shit. Okay, so let's go here. And the scriptures go into things getting tighter. All right, what's the brother got? This is brother Quanah Waff. GMS pray always hopeful elect. Ezekiel 4:10 it says in thy meat. All right, it says and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time shalt thou eat it. Yeah, intermittent fasting is going to be a mandatory. Eating every other day. These things are going to be the norm. Okay, in a society where people, used to go to buffets. Here it is. You go to, you eat your breakfast, leaving home, go by Starbucks, get your coffee. Okay, have your dinner delivered to you, have your lunch delivered to you at work, and then after work you go to a buffet. You see that abundance is gone. Okay, now you gonna have to ration out. Okay, the pieces of chicken you cook. Okay, the box of macaroni, and you gonna have to ration these things out now. Okay, see that time of abundance. Okay, is fading out. Now things are gonna have to be rationed, man. Okay, and it's only gonna get worse to the point to where people ain't gonna have access to food. Okay, Ezekiel 4:11 says, it says, thou shalt drink also water by measure, the sixth part of a hin, from time to time shalt thou drink it, man. People gonna have eating schedules. Hey, the Lord gonna make people get disciplined, man. This undisciplined society. Okay, people are gonna have no choice but to apply discipline because it's survival mode now. Okay, because America is used to what? Being reckless. All right, if a brother can post that with the Isaiah 47 and is it 7? Deal is carelessly, thou is love is pleasure. Okay, so let's read this. Second Ezra 8 and 50. This is Brother Bayon Yasha'Allah 144. Second Ezra 8 and 50 said, for many great misery shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And see, pride is going to be obliterated. Okay, you ain't gonna have the the nutrients to be proud soon, man. Okay, the Lord depleting this place. Okay, all this plan, and you ain't finna have the nutrients needed, the calories needed, all right, to do no TikTok challenge. Okay, all this Halloween, the walking around, you don't got the energy to do all that walk. Sit your ass down. Okay, that's what it's coming to. Okay, the Lord is bringing austerity, what they call austerity measures. Okay, these are mandatory. All right, austerity measures. See if I can look that up. Austerity. Yep. So what we're seeing in America, is what they do. Okay, in these other states. Okay, in these other countries, the government, enforces austerity measures. Okay. All right. So let's go here, and then we're gonna get that. This is the book of Isaiah 47 and 8 from the brother Yahweh. It said, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, all right, neither shall I know the loss of children. Okay, so this society for the longest, has just been allowed, to be careless. Okay, living in pleasures, you see, but that period of abundance, okay, is being wiped away, and now we're going into a time of austerity. Okay, you see, can't afford to be reckless anymore. Okay, let's go here. Austerity measure. All right, it says austerity measure. This is what's happening. This is what the American government is implementing. All right, to society. It says austerity measures are government policies aimed at reducing deficits. Okay. Austerity measures are government policies aimed at reducing, all right, deficits by cutting spending and increasing, all right, taxes. All right, because inflation is a hidden tax. The apostle Tahar went into it. Okay. He goes into often how inflation, okay, is a hidden tax. So it says austerity measures are government policies aimed at reducing deficits by cutting spending and increasing taxes. These measures can include cuts to the public services and social welfare, hiring freezes, pay freezes, okay, government shutdowns, or public sector workers, and raising taxes like VAT, while the goal is economic uh, stabilization, these policies are often criticized for potentially increasing unemployment, harming low-wage earners, and prolonging economic downturns, man. Okay, so your American government is applying austerity measures to you, man. Okay, and people have no idea. You see, so it's like your government is forcing you, okay, to be more disciplined. Okay, it's forcing you, all right, to go without. Okay, while they claim that this is to stabilize the economy, no, this is for the sake of control. Okay, and making people desperate. All right, and also preparing people to get ready to lash out. Okay, and everybody's feeling it. So let's go here. There's a couple of I got a couple of precepts I want to get into. Let's get this real quick in Isaiah. All right, the 14th chapter. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. No, 19. So like go to Isaiah 19. All right. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse, okay, 14. It said, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in his vomit. Okay, so what we're looking at with America, okay, is, this devil, all right, has enchanted, the society so much. Okay, people have become so perverted, all right, that there's no outcry, for what's going on, and people are so drunken off the American dream, the lie of the American dream, okay, the do as thou wilt culture, okay, and they're just staggering all over the place, man. Okay, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the American society just stagger like a drunk person, man. Okay, and the elites are just having their way. Okay, it's easy to take advantage of someone that's drunk. Okay, but this is the economy that you vote. This is the government that you vote for, you believe in. Okay, a society of this carefree society where people have become less self-sufficient, okay, and more proud. So now you're staggering, okay, you're drunken, you're landing in your own vomit. Okay, this the hangover phase where people are throwing up everywhere. Okay, and this American dream, people are throwing it up now. Okay, and it says, neither shall they be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Yeah, so people are going to feel it in all sectors, man. Okay, from the head to the tail, everybody is feeling it, man. And that's how the same it was in the same way it was in ancient Egypt. Okay, let's go here real quick. Let's get this in dealing with ancient Egypt. Okay, when you go to Wisdom of Solomon 18. So this is when Egypt was getting plagued. Okay, this is Wisdom of Solomon 18, and I started at 11. It says the master and the servant will punish after one manner, and like as the king, so suffer the common person. Okay, so the owner of companies, along with the employees, okay, everybody's finna suffer, man, because guess what? These lifestyles that the rich and the lavish are used to, okay, living, they can't sponsor that anymore. Okay, and they got different bills. These companies, corporations got different bills. Okay, so these profits and revenues slow down unless you're in that elite class of the super rich. Okay, because even millionaires are about to go broke. Okay, this society, people with millions of dollars are about to go broke. Okay, so it says the master and the servant was punished after one manner, and like as the king, so suffered the common person, man. Okay, and this is what we're seeing in this economy. Everybody catching it, man. Okay, so let's go here, and we'll end it here with let's get this in proverb. All right, so all right, you niggas think it's gonna be sweet, running up on these folks that's on edge already. Okay, that's been getting shammed for years, because who you think gonna feel more played? Someone that's been getting a handout, or someone that's been working, all right, their ass off for decades, man. Okay, who you think's, all right, going to be more infuriated in these times, man? Okay, so let's go here to Proverbs chapter I think is it 10. Yep, 'cause this is what we depend on. All right, because we in the midst of these things, we feeling the squeeze too. All right, but we know we have hope, in favor. Okay, Proverbs 10:3 it said the Lord. I'm started at 2. It says, treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness deliver from death. Okay, so all these things that people, have stored up. Okay, and the elites, and they because it's called a war of attrition. Okay, when you slowly wear down your enemy. Okay, and what we're seeing, the government has a covert war of attrition to where people, okay, are running through their savings, going into debt. Okay, so everything that people had as a cushion, as a safety blanket, well, guess what? This economy is running through it. It's a war of attrition, man. Okay, if you look that up, it said treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivered from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he cast away the substance of the wicked, man. Okay, and this is a wicked society. Okay, and beginning even with the elites, because eventually, okay, everything that they've worked up, all right, built up, all right, and stored up is going to be taken away. And they're going into captivity, man. But the Lord is not going to allow the elect, to starve, okay, in these times. You see? And that's our faith, that's our hope, man. Okay, so that was the point, Lord will. All right, you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful like Shalom.